So, recently this app called Notion has become very popular, and many students across the globe and many people who deem themselves as productivity gurus across the globe currently are using Notion. So, in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys what Notion exactly is if you don't know what it is, and I'll also be sharing my personal setup of how I personally use Notion. So first of all, to get started, let's understand what Notion exactly is. In simple words and in what I think of it as, I think that Notion is an all-in-one productivity app. So within Notion, you have a lot of things. So you have a notepad, you have a habit tracker, you have your shopping list, or anything that you want, you can add into Notion, and you can create your own what is called templates. And if you're short on time, or if you don't want to create your own templates, there are millions, I'm exaggerating here, there are lots of templates available already made by people from across the globe, which you can use and use it in your daily life. So now let's jump right into my Notion setup. So first of all, this is what is my home page, or where I have arranged all this stuff. So this is the home page that you'll see. So within the home page, there are a lot of pages, and here I've arranged them in a different manner. So first of all, this is the daily stuff. These are the things that I use almost every day. So first of all, there's the to-do list, which is, quite frankly, everybody should be doing this. I actually used to use to-do lists physically before that. I used to write it down on a piece of paper, but I thought that if I am able to get it on the same place, why not? So again, what Notion does is it eliminates the need for you to use different apps. Now, for example, only for a to-do list, people use different apps. So there's Todoist, and there are different apps. So people will have a different app for Todoist. People will have Evernote, a different app for taking notes. People will have a different calendar app. But what Notion does is it brings all these apps together into one, so you don't have to, you don't have to get confused by using a lot of apps. So a single app does all your work for you. So what I do is the night before. That means, for example, I make today's to-do list last night. So what this does is it eliminates the need of getting up in the morning and then writing this to-do list. Just write everything that you want to do in this list. And one tip that I generally give people is don't get too much attached to your to-do list, and don't get super anxious and super nervous that I'm not able to complete all the tasks on my to-do list. It's completely fine not being able to do all of them. It is just a basic guideline for your day and what you think should happen, but if it does not happen, it is completely alright. Now the next one is my habit tracker. Here, obviously, it is a habit tracker where I track all of my habits. So as you can see, I did not work out today, but this really helps me. But again, if you do not want to add an additional habit, because keeping track of an habit tracker in itself is an habit. So if you do not want to add a lot of pressure on yourself, it's better to not do it. But I personally like to keep track of my habits and that I'm actually doing all of those things. So as you can see, Notion also allows you to design your own pages. So for example, in this home page, I have put a cover of my university, and I've underlined this stuff, I've highlighted that stuff. And the practice of this, then you can add an emoji, the practice of this, the designing of things, makes it more likely that you're actually going to do it, because it is a fun activity in itself to be able to design your own things. So people are most likely going to do it. If it had a blank interface, like only like something like Word, obviously you can do all of this stuff in your Word document as well, but it does not really give you the push to do it. You won't feel like doing it every day. But when you're making stuff on Notion, you really get attracted to making it really aesthetically beautiful and everything. So it really does help. Now, after habit tracker, let's talk about my journal. This habit has absolutely helped me. In this, I write my daily reflections, and also along with that, I write some fluff that comes to my mind, or whenever I'm seeing a YouTube video which I find really helpful, or a short video somewhere else which I find helpful, I like to jot things down so that for future reference. And journal definitely is a single best habit I've taken up recently. It actually helps you to reflect upon your day. So I write my daily journal just before going to bed. I have not been doing it for a little time now, but I'm starting it again. It is a really good habit. It lets you reflect on your day, and so that your next day you try to be better and you try to beat yourself than how you were on that particular day. So next stuff is the productivity stuff and productive stuff, and here I write down book notes. I absolutely enjoy this habit as well because as I've told in one of my videos, I've recently started reading a lot of self-help books. And the thing with self-help books is that once you read it, the moment you've finished reading it, you get really inspired and you start implementing things in your daily life. But it does not take time for you to forget all of those things. And that is the reason I started writing down notes, because it really does help. And from time to time, when I'm not doing anything, when I'm just sitting with my laptop screen open, I just love to go and read one of the book's notes that I've written. So yeah, after book notes, let's jump into class notes. Now, of course, I have not got a lot of class notes until now. I've just recently started using this, so I've got some Skillshare classes that I've recently been doing. Then I've got even the lectures that I see on YouTube. There are a lot of physics lectures and whatnot on YouTube, so I've been doing a lot of them. And then I love to categorize them. I love to keep them organized. Yeah, so my handwriting is not quite attractive, but yeah, anyway. Now let's jump to YouTube workflow. Now this is not all that complicated, so I've challenged myself to make at least 40 videos before I go to Manchester, if I'm going to Manchester. But yeah, so here I have the 4 checkboxes here: script written, filmed, edited, and uploaded. So what I do every morning, so whenever I open up my laptop for the first time every morning, the first thing that I do is I go to Notion, right? So when I go to Notion, I keep track of what all I want to do. Right, so when I see this YouTube workflow right sitting here on my home page, I know that I have to work on that, and I don't generally give up on that. So whenever I see first thing in the morning the YouTube workflow thing over here, I really know that I have to do something related to my YouTube channel. At least film a video, at least edit something, at least upload something. So again, now these 2 things were what I use regularly. So daily stuff and productive stuff is the regular things that I usually go to. Other things that I also use is, first of all, this long-term stuff that I'm actually planning way ahead of time. Here I have my by 30 goal, so everything that I want to do by the age I'm 30. Here I have the ideas for books. So of course, everybody's bucket list has a goal to write a book. So I've been thinking about what book to write, and yeah, we'll have a look at it. So then I have my shopping goals. I mean, who does not have shopping goals, right? So here I write down the things that I really want to buy in the near future, in the long future, but I also write down the estimated amount of money that I'll have to pay for that stuff, and I'm planning my budgets accordingly. So the next one is beat the flow. You all won't know this, but I really have a goal of starting a business in the future, and I have already chosen the name. So I'm really right now just bringing the pieces together, and I'll be looking at what I'll be doing in the near future. But this is not something that I want to do immediately, because for this venture, I'll need a huge team. I'll need people to support me through the stuff. So this is not an immediate thing. So that's why I haven't put it in a different section. This is something that I'm looking in a long term. And then is your miscellaneous stuff. That is your subscriptions that I manage. So all the internet subscriptions that I've taken up, anything, Netflix, Amazon Prime, I write all the list down there and then the due date of that, so that I don't forget, and it does not, if I don't need it, I cancel it beforehand, so that it does not automatically get cut from my account. And then it's the notepad, just for scribbling whatever thoughts that I have, any ideas that I get. For example, if I'm scrolling through the internet and I find something helpful, that goes directly to my notepad. So now, for example, I'm reading a blog on the internet, right? So when I'm going through this and I find something that is really interesting, when I find a page that is really interesting, I go here, and here's an icon for Notion. This is called the Notion Clipper. And when I click on it, I can save this page directly to where I want. So right now I'm going to put it in notes. So for example, I've loved this article written by me. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this page. So what happens is that it has now gone into my Notion app. And so whenever I have free time again, I can refer back to this topic, so that I don't, it does not become an instant gratification thing. So for example, I read it right now, I love the article, but then in some time I'm going to forget about it. So what this Notion Clipper does, it's a Chrome extension. You can download it for yourself as well. So what this does is that whenever I have free time, I can just go and have a look over this article once again, so that I do not forget about it and it stays fresh in my mind. So yeah, that's it from my end today. I know it was not a very detailed video, and I I did not have a goal of making a detailed video for now. So I hope that you got a little idea of what Notion is. I know that Notion is a little confusing app if you're just getting started out and if you're not very technologically savvy. So my advice to you, if you've not yet started using Notion, is to just download it. It's completely free. Of course, there are premium packages as well, but I don't see any need for that. And if you're a student at any university, the premium package is absolutely free for you. You just have to put in your institution email ID, that is @yourcollegename.edu or something like that, and then it becomes free for you and you get a completely free Notion premium thing. But I don't think premium is actually needed. It just allows a lot of embedding and a lot of widgets and everything. But if you're just getting started out, it is not really required. Just download the app. It's actually not even required to download the app. You can realistically just use Notion on your web browser. So yeah, once you start using it and once you actually implement these things in your life, you'll really find it helpful, and this is my guarantee to you that you'll not use any other app after that. Just one thing that I wanted to point out is that the calendar that's there in Notion is not actually really good, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I yet use Google Calendar for planning out my day and planning out my events and everything. Notion's inbuilt calendar is not quite great. So yeah, that was just the only one fault that I found as of now from Notion. So yeah, thank you so much guys for watching the video. I'll be back again very shortly with another video.